Last week on Gleeboot, it was the season 4 ballot, and we established the only thing anyone, including the listeners, remembered about season 4 was the mashup of Let's Have a Kiki and Turkey Lurkey Time, because that was voted best and worst song, and that episode was voted best episode. And newsflash, that was definitely not the best episode.
It was, actually.
It is the best because it's the only one I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, what we missed on Gleeboot.
That's what we missed on Gleeboot.
It's been a while, folks. That's why we're a little rusty.
Gleeboot. So, like, Glee actually was trending at some point during our break.
Who did what?
So, a conservative podcaster, I think, said that Glee is created woke culture and radicalized a generation. And all these people were posting things like, my daughter used to watch Glee, now she thinks we're racist and she won't come into our house. Or like all this stuff like that. And people were like, yeah, Glee invented it. And then like quotes or old tweets from Ben Shapiro being like, Kurt's gonna lose his gay virginity. Like, Glee is a satanic assault on America.
Wow.
I mean, you know what? Here's what I'll give Ben Shapiro. He stayed pretty consistent with his tweet quality. So
like all this stuff, and so then people were making memes, and it was like the Glee agenda, and they're singing "Let's Have a Kiki Turkey Lurkey Time," and then a shot of a woman screaming, and the caption's like conservatives. I made one put on our social media to remind us of what Glee's definition of minority is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a person in the Glee club. So you could be white and straight and athletic, but if you're in a Glee club, you're a minority.
Yep.
So
just a reminder
that is apparently the invention of woke culture.
It's so funny because, like, in a way, Glee, I wouldn't say radicalized, but like introduced families to a lot of different ideas that they wouldn't have otherwise had access to because of the current media or the media landscape at the time. But then like watching it now, it's like, oof, there's a lot of rough stuff in here that like maybe they should have been more woke. Just the complicated dichotomy of that is so fascinating.
It is how I found out what gay people were, other than whispered conversations from adults that's why pedophiles existed.
What?
Yeah.
So even before I knew it was gay, I had a fear that maybe I was a pedophile because that's what people said about feminine boys.
That's so strange. I'm sorry you had that experience.
Yeah, seriously, sorry about that. Logic leaps of people who don't understand the world.
Yeah, that's how the Catholic Church would get around, like when the boys would visit the seminary. That's how they'd be like, oh, that's how we're getting rid of child abuse. We're getting more masculine priests. And now I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the problem. That was the problem there.
Yeah.
Anyway, how were your holidays? How was the break for you guys? It was a great time to just relax.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I'm glad it's over because it was just like a lot of stress leading up to it and having the gifts and all that stuff. But like in the moment, it was great to just like be with family and just kind of hang out. Like I think Christmas Day, by like 5 or 6 o'clock, we were all just like laying on the couch watching a movie. It was great.
Yeah, I watched Luca for the first time and cried.
Oh, it's cute. I love that movie. It's such a cute movie.
I have to go back and watch it because I didn't like it because in my mind, when I had watched the trailers, I thought it was something completely different as a story. And then it wasn't that story. And I think I was mad. And I just kept making fun of it the whole time. Lyle knows exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't even say the word Luca. So he was really liking it. I was like, this is awful. But I think I just needed to give it another shot.
Yeah.
My holidays were pretty good. I went home to visit family, and by the time I got back, I was real happy because let me just explain myself here to the viewers. I love my family. I love them.
She calls them a lot more than I call mine. Yeah.
Yes, I talk to my family all the time. We do Zoom calls at least once a week. It's
That's
like
so good.
we're close. But when I live in my apartment with Cullen, typically we only see each other maybe 10 hours a week.
Yeah, like we'll have times where we go and we talk a lot and we hang out a lot, and other times where we're just like, oh, we need our own space.
Yes.
You know?
A lot of times
It sounds like a healthy roommate relationship.
Yes. So when I went home and I got to spend all of my hours with my family for 10 days, it was rough. It was a rough period for me. I literally stayed up until like 3:00 in the morning just because everyone else had gone to bed and I was alone.
You're like, I need alone time and it can't just be sleep.
It cannot. It doesn't work. Introverts know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I had a similar experience, and I'm very extroverted, but I went over to my sister's and Rafa's family on both Christmas Eve and Christmas. And by the day after, I was so tired of social interaction, I like literally wanted to scream. I was like, I can't.
I'm fairly certain it's gotten worse, like during the shutdown and lockdown, and I'm still working from home. So,
yep.
Sort of like retreated into this little shell that I am just fine in. Thank you very much. No one needs to come save me, but it also makes it a little bit more difficult when I'm trying to like interact with people.
Yeah, I've forgotten a lot of my social skills, I think. Good thing I have this podcast, because otherwise I think I would forget how to speak English.
Highlight of my holiday though, I went to Knott's Berry Farm for the first time other than Knott's Scary Farm, and I bought a season pass because Rafa was like, we're getting season passes, and he was there and he was like, you'd rather be at Disneyland, wouldn't you? And I was like, I mean, yes, but those passes are significantly more expensive and you can go significantly less.
Yeah,
but we saw...
I actually thought it was an actual berry farm. I didn't know.
I mean, they have berries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw The Peanuts Taught Me the True Meaning of Christmas. Yeah, and then it was January 2nd, so it was the last day of their Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
And the Sleigh Bells Christmas a cappella group were there, and they gave me very Glee energy. Glee meets pentatonics. Yeah. I was like, can't wait to talk about this on the podcast. But yeah, that was my holiday.
And now it's 2022, which is a year apparently.
It is 2022? Yeah. Okay. I was like, is it 2023?
Yeah. I had to write 2022 today, and I was like, there's too many twos.
My sister listened to Taylor Swift's 22 at midnight.
Makes sense.
Obviously, Taylor's version.
I missed midnight because Lyle and I were watching something. Oh, that's right. We were watching Venom. So we started with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 to watch a horrible version of Venom. And then we watched the 2 Venom movies. And we were like right in the middle of the second Venom. And I looked at my phone, I was like, okay, 8:57 or 11:57, I'll remember. About 10 minutes goes by and I was like, well, we missed it. So that's what we did. I missed, whatever.
Spider-Man 3 is an amazing movie. It is one of the highlights of my childhood.
Honestly, like watching it as an adult, I was like, well, the first thing I said was the Sandman in that movie. It is a worse CGI version of Sandman than the 1999 Mummy movie. Like, those are better special effects in 1999. Like, if you watch them back, like side to side, I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel the same way. Yeah, no, it's so bad, but so good. Yeah.
But have you seen Spider-Man, what is it, No Way Home?
Yes, I have, which is actually what sparked it. I was like, I kind of want to go back and watch the Sam Raimi movies. And then we watched the third one. I was like, yeah, I think I know what this is about. I'm good. I remember now.
Yeah. Honestly, all you need to do is watch Spider-Man No Way Home and you're all caught up.
Yeah. That was a really good movie. I kind of want to go see it again.
Yeah, it was great. But no spoilers. It's still too soon. And our guest has been patiently waiting for this conversation and patiently waiting for us to figure out how to watch Glee in a post-Glee on Netflix world.
Yeah.
So shout out to our guest, LA actress and comedian, Natalie Naya.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
we're back to season 5. We are ingesting this garbage every week and questioning our life choices.
Yeah.
So welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also just like for the listeners out there, there's still like no legal free way to watch Glee that we can tell. So we went ahead and bought season 5. So like we said, I think last time on the podcast, or maybe before that, we have now invested money into Glee. So
Yes.
$20.
It was $20.
Ooh.
Actually, it was $13.99 because we had like a 30% offer being like the first purchase on the platform.
Oh. Okay.
But season 6, if we buy it on there, will be $20.
Oh.
Well,
Which
season 6
doesn't
is
seem
less
fair.
episodes.
I was gonna say it, but I'm pretty sure it is still. I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it until
Wow,
whenever
the
we have to.
economy, huh?
Yeah. Glee is in hot commodity. It has to be like a full price. I actually thought about buying the DVDs because it actually may have been cheaper to buy 2 season 5 DVDs, mail one to myself and mail one to you guys.
But from what I know, the little I know about season 5 and 6, I think we're at the worst season right now. I think 6 is like so weird that it's kind of slightly better. That
But
Right.
we're still in it. We still have to watch like 22 episodes, right?
this is a 20 episode season.
Okay,
A lot.
minus 2.
There's a lot.
20 episodes.
Yeah.
So
Thank
it's
God.
$1 an episode.
Yeah, actually, I think it's $1.99 if you buy them each separately. I know that's some bullshit.
Mm-mm.
These episodes are definitely worth 50 cents.
Yeah, that's pushing it, honestly.
Yeah. So Natalie, what is your Glee journey? Your Glurney, if you will.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Glee came out when I was a freshman in high school. And similarly to Cullen, I grew up sheltered Catholic. I went to a Catholic high school. And I remember that fall of 2013, we did our softball team bonding experience and we slept over at a senior's house and we were watching Glee. And like,
Wow.
she was like, yeah, you don't have to tell your parents though, okay? Because of all the revolutionary things and just the whole, we're going to portray gay people, you know what I mean?
Being introduced to woke culture, if you will.
Yeah.
Thank you. And she was like, but you don't have to tell your moms. And then I started watching it. And then after season 2, I was like, oh, I can't do this. Not for any of the things, like any woke things. I was like, this is just getting bad.
Yeah.
So when you asked me to be on it, I was like sick. And then you're like season 5. And I was like, shit, I don't know any of these people. I know like 5. So
Yeah.
that's my Glurney. And but I'm loving it. I'm here.
Awesome.
Let's bring Glee back into your life.
Yeah. We start you off on what is arguably the worst season.
Well, and it's funny because I just moved in alone, but my old roommate, she works at the high school that Glee is based off of.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Fascinating.
I went on a
There's a
few
real high school.
or set in a real
Ohio?
LA high school.
So there's a choir. There was a choir here in LA that
Okay.
the whole thing is sparked from.
Why
It's
did
not
they
like-
base
it's
it
not
in
like-
Ohio? Why didn't they just say it's in LA?
Because show
Because
choir is
they-
bigger in the Midwest.
I have no idea
Allegedly.
why, but so
I grew up there. I've never even heard
No,
of
but, like,
choir.
I know.
but like it's not that big, but theoretically it's slightly bigger in the Midwest. Continue, Natalie.
yeah, so that was something that I was thinking about while I was watching it, and I was like, oh, I wonder like if it's super accurate or if it's just like, here's a competitive Glee club. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I dated like on Tinder, like a few like video dates, a guy who went to that high school while they were filming Glee. And
That's
he'd be like,
interesting.
you want to use the stairwell, but no, Kurt and Blaine are having a conversation, so you got to go somewhere else to get to class.
Wait, that's so interesting. I guess I just thought of it as like they hired extras, but these are just like actual students walking in the scene past people.
I think sometimes they have extras. I think because I've
Right.
also dated someone who was a Glee extra.
Right. A Glextra.
A Glextra.
What a credit. What a credit.
Yeah.
But who am I to judge people's credits? Don't look me up.
I never thought about that. But yeah, I mean, that would make sense if like they're using a school, like they can't just shut it down during production all the time.
They probably just cut off specific hallways and stuff.
I wish you could see like someone like turning the corner and being like, oh shit, and like turning around.
Oh, you know what? I bet if you look closely, we might probably see something like that. I would not be surprised.
Well, anytime anyone wanders onto the camera, they're gonna need to get them to sign something so that their image can be released. So I wonder if everyone had to sign that when they went to school there during that time.
I would doubt that it was on during actual school, like during session, like during
weekends only, maybe
the calendar year. Either it had to have been on weekends or summer break.
Summer,
right? Because you can film a whole season in a couple weeks, couple months. So
yeah, I don't know.
That's something to look up though. That'd be cool to know.
I still don't understand why they put it in Ohio. I don't get it.
It's because they want to make fun of Ohio. That's why.
Like me.
Ohio is probably the easiest Midwest state to make fun of.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You seen Iowa? I'm just throwing it out there. Food for thought.
They have a whole song about it in the music, man.
What's the alcohol situation for everyone?
I was drinking a White Claw. Now it's gone. So I'm gonna go get another one.
Yeah, I finished my
timing.
Samuel Adams Cold Snap White Ale.
Oh, interesting. I've got so I went to like a paint and sip thing a while back with my boyfriend's mom and sister, and Lyle so kindly brought us our alcohol from the grocery store next door and bought like 5 million of these sangria things. So I'm still drinking whatever's left like 3 months later, and it's very sweet. Capriccio sangria.
I'm kicking it with the OG water.
Ooh, H2O.
You know, I got an early morning tomorrow.
Yeah, feel that.
So did you take the BuzzFeed quizzes, Natalie?
Boy, did I. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear these results?
Yeah, we're ready.
So I'll do which Glee character I am. I got Finn Hudson, and it says, I'm a kind person and a leader, and I know what to say to motivate people and how to bring a team together. And people find it easy to confide in me and reach out for help.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. I was a huge Finn head, okay? In the OG days.
He was a pretty likable character, especially early on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So innocent.
And who is your Glee boyfriend?
Okay, this guy's a super cutie. Couldn't tell you who he is. Sam Evans.
Oh, yeah.
We love Sam. We saw him in concert.
Oh. So it says he's a total nerd and I'll love him for it. And he'll make me laugh all the time. And that is what I desire in a man.
There you go.
Those are pretty nice results. I mean, my dad got Rachel Berry, so.
Oh, yay.
Sam was in this episode for about 5 seconds.
He was. He had a little song, a little part of a song.
And he said gay marriage good.
Ooh, yeah. I also noted that down. And I was like, here you go, Sam Evans.
Woke.
Ally. A woke ally. Woke culture people were in it.
Did not like the new haircut.
No, not about it. Strange that his hair grew that much in, I don't know, 4 days, because that's the timeline that we're going with. Oh, yeah. So, Natalie, we're actually in the middle of a school year in this season, unlike past seasons where they like finish a school year or they get to a certain point where it makes sense. This didn't make sense.
That makes sense, because I was like, why is Archie still here? Or is that Archie? Artie.
Artie.
Look at me. Why is he still here?
Yeah.
But that made more sense. Okay, that was cool. Yeah. But on the haircut, loved it. Didn't know it was impossible to grow No time frame.
Yeah. So this episode that Alyssa described is making her feel like a pinball machine.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Specifically, not I am not the machine. I'm the ball. The
Mhm.
machine was the episode.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's just thumpers and
Wow.
bumpers all over the place. Lots of flashing lights. It's a
Yep.
lot.
Lots of mustard-colored pants.
Oh, too much yellow.
Leaned into that a little too much.
So much
Slightly.
yellow. Too much yellow. Yellow sunglasses.
And it was 2013 when this was filmed, and I will recall that my school colors were yellow, and no one wore that much yellow.
Mm-mm.
Not even our uniforms. And I
I thought at least with that much yellow in the episode, we were gonna hear a version of Yellow Submarine.
I was on the same wavelength.
I didn't even think about
Beatles,
that.
Yellow Submarine.
Well, that's
somebody can-
later Beatles though, because wasn't this
really?
episode? Didn't they say they were doing the Beatles for 2 weeks?
They did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, is this episode going to span 2 weeks? I still can't tell.
Are
But
they actually going in order of like when the Beatles released
Yeah.
the songs?
Yeah. Like the era.
did they?
Beatles are famous for their eras.
See, I didn't realize like each
Like
song
Taylor Swift and
when they
Kesha.
did it in the episode is by era. I
I think they did a lot of early Beatles songs.
Yeah, that's what they said. The first week is going to be early stuff. Yellow Submarine is like when they're like heavy into acid later in their career.
Mm.
I
But
don't know.
still, too much yellow.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I wanted Tina to sing Maxwell Silverhammer.
I just kind of wish they didn't do a Beatles episode. So now this makes me think, are they going to do a later Beatles music episode
next
next
is
week?
Beatles week too, yeah.
Oh no.
That's why it was the first thing. One of the first things I said to Cullen when we were watching is like, this is when Shu tells us specifically they're doing 2 weeks on the Beatles. I was like, this is them telling us we're going to have a Beatles episode next week.
See, like,
Well, it does make sense because they are so iconic, right? And
Yeah, prolific, iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this show is all about Caucasian culture and the Beatles at
Yeah.
the peak, the pinnacle.
I'm glad that Unique was like, not super into the Beatles. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm glad someone like recognized that like not everyone, especially at that age, is gonna be into the Beatles.
Yeah, because Kitty was like, does anyone still relate to the Beatles? And they had a valid point. They're like, I mean, most people still do. I mean,
Yeah.
Katy
I
Perry
did not
only
at that
recently
age. I don't
released a
even-
cover of Love Is All You Need.
I don't think I knew who the Beatles were. The only reason I knew who they were was because one of my best friends loved the Beatles and would listen to them on mixtapes, actual mixtapes.
Ah.
That's a take. That's a hot take.
Yes.
My
That's the only reason I knew who they were.
my priest loved the Beatles and would have Beatles cover bands come and perform at the church.
During
Oh,
Mass,
that's interesting.
Not during Mass. It was like,
I'm so
I
sorry.
wish,
After
honestly.
the holiday comes
Hard
Yellow
side-
Submarine.
Hard sidebar. During the Eucharist?
No, it would be like an event in the social hall, and you'd go and have a Beatles cover band.
No, I want it to be during Mass.
I just want them to sing like I don't know, like what's a very quintessential, like
All the lonely
Alleluia.
people during like communion.
Oh,
all the
that's
elementary
terrific.
week. That's how I first was introduced to the Beatles, and my mom was like, "Oh, like because my mom liked the Beatles, she would like play them," and then that was in the homeschool bubble. That was controversial that we were allowed to listen to the Beatles.
I would say so. I mean, the Beatles were controversial when they were coming up because it was rock music, and rock music was frowned upon by the conservatives.
And there was, speaking of homeschoolers, there's this big homeschool lecture that they all liked who talked about how evil rock music was. And the
What?
reason that he traced it is because it came from African music. And
What?
like devil worshipping Africans.
You know,
And-
those Africans.
And like as a kid, I already was like, this is some bullshit. And then as I got older, I was like,
It's like, that's
oh, this
some
is some racist
bull.
bullshit.
That racism knows no links.
Yeah,
Bounds.
seriously.
Yeah.
That's a reach.
That's so interesting. I can imagine that listening to the Beatles would be somewhat controversial for like really religious people for sure. I feel kind of like any secular music, honestly.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
We were allowed to listen to secular music. We were allowed to talk to people who went to school. Like,
wait, other kids weren't allowed to talk to other kids?
yeah, like, because we'd go to this youth group. It was a Catholic youth group with kids from like Catholic school and public school. And we would go as homeschoolers.
Public school kids.
And we would invite our homeschool friends and they'd be like, oh no, like there's like like our parents wouldn't let us. And so that's why like it took me till I was an adult to realize how strict my parents were, because in our bubble, my parents were like the chill parents.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Because they were like normal people.
Well, thank goodness they did that.
Because they were like,
Yes.
yeah, I do community theater, or like
Meet other people.
Yeah.
Wild.
So yeah, I remember we had a Beatles CD with like some of their hits. Then my mom first got us a Looney Tunes Beatles CD where the Looney Tunes sang the Beatles.
No. Oh no. Please tell me Foghorn Leghorn was not featured.
I don't remember. The main thing I remember is Daffy Duck sang Yesterday. And when he
I'm
said
gonna
there's
look this up later.
when he said there's a shadow hanging over me, like a literal prop shadow like fell on him.
Oh, so it had visuals with it too.
It was like an audio drama, I guess, in that it was sound effects, not actual visuals.
Okay, and how does that compare to this episode of Glee? That's a real important question here.
Rachel Daffy Duck duet in the Gleeboot.
Yes, it's happening. No, it would have to be Looney Tunes is Warner Brothers, so it would have to be
Donald Duck.
Yeah, it would have to be Donald Duck, Mickey, and Goofy. Oh God, Goofy. Okay, we could go on forever about this, but like we have an episode to talk about. Oh.
It was so bad, as you can tell. We do not feel like talking
I don't
about
want
it.
to talk about it because like it honestly, I was really bored. And I just like, I kept wanting to hit that fast forward button. But honestly, I've never used Voodoo, so I didn't know what was going to happen. So I didn't.
Oh, you're telling me your New Year's resolution was not no fast forwarding through Glee?
You know what? Yes, that's my New Year's resolution. I hadn't set one. I'm setting it today. Mark the time, 8:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 16th, 2022. And literally next week, I'm going to be like, guys, I couldn't do Yellow Submarine. I had to fast forward.
My personal belief is that New Year's resolutions are meant to be broken.
Yeah, that's why I don't make them.
Literally,
Yeah.
people only make New Year's resolutions in order to break them.
Yeah.
I'm tired of YouTube trying to tell me to use Noom or figure out how to lose weight. I'm like, you know what? I am trying to lose weight, but I don't need you to tell me all the time, YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't need Noom. I just need to wake up early enough to go to the gym. Thank you.
I have New Year's goals. Different thing.
That sounds like exactly the same thing.
It's not the same.
I feel like a resolution is like, I'm going to do this, but a goal is like, I would like to do this. I'm going to work toward this.
Less
Yeah.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
how I would see it.
Okay.
I like that better.
Okay, so this
Focus.
episode's plots. We have Blaine and Kurt. Blurt is doubling down and getting together.
What happened? Because they got back together and then like the next scene, Blaine was like, I'm gonna propose. And I was like, and then Kurt knew about it. How did that happen?
That's a good question. That part is a really good question.
The two are too big of two jump, like the jumps are too big.
Well, he bought the ring before they were even back together at the end of last season.
Oh,
Yeah.
barf. See, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No, it was
No,
not good.
that was deeply uncomfortable. But I cannot wait to talk about the conversation with Kurt's dad in the car because I also was stunned. I was like, what do you mean you know about this? I'm confused.
He seemed too
Guilty.
cash.
Very cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blaine is like a robot who only knows how to love. And
Specifically Kurt.
Kurt. So like he is just like jumping like as a character, he doesn't know what to do other than just make the next step with Kurt.
Mm.
Yeah.
He has no chill.
Yeah, no chill. He should have dated the guy from the exercise class. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that guy had a nice ass. Anyway.
So
I was looking at me because
okay, what else is happening? Sue is back.
as the interim principal.
Where
Get
she
some-
should be. Where she should be.
Sue is back. That's one storyline. Tina gets a nice little condescension.
Yeah.
Poor Tina.
Yeah, this show, at this point, Tina is the only character I really care about. So, and the show continues to insult my love.
I'm worried about her.
I'm surprised that you even have someone still.
Well, it's like Tina, Sam, and Blaine. I root for them.
I don't really I don't care about any of them now.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Alyssa. Like I'm checked out of everyone's also Rachel, that's how the episode starts. So like she went through the audition process for Funny Girl, and this is sort of like her final callback. I know. I was literally like, I literally wrote, I think my first line is, I literally don't care about Rachel's life.
And then she's saying yesterday, all whiny. And okay, just as somebody who gets told no all the time in acting, okay, again, don't look me up because there's not much there. It is so frustrating to see somebody just like move to New York and be like, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
And then get told no, like for what time is she like
The first time, basically.
exactly.
Yep.
Like it's and she's like, oh, but then I'm gonna dance for him. And it's like, what? That's not how life works.
It's the worst.
Yeah, so we have a Rachel storyline.
Hate it.
And are those the storylines? Rachel, Sue, Blaine, Tina? Oh, Cardi.
Yes, Kitty Artie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Kitty, who's now more of a main character than Marley. Marley had like all of 2 lines. I'm like,
Are we gonna
Melissa
start counting
Benoist.
Marley's lines now?
So okay, let's talk about the opening and let's do Rachel first. So Rachel is doing a Barbra Streisand impression.
It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Opposite, I don't know how to say his first name properly, but Ian Grufford, who is Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four, not the most
he
recent
also has
one.
his own TV show, but I think that got canceled.
Yeah, that got canceled. And then also, Lyle and I recently just watched Titanic. We literally finished it last night. He was in that movie as one of the ship's crew who mans the boat to go back to save anyone who hasn't frozen to death. So fun fact. Also, you know who else is there? Carlisle Cullen. Of course, the Spokane, Washington area Cullens. From Twilight.
And let me tell you, he's still looking fine.
He looks the same. I think Peter Facinelli is a vampire.
He's actually really a vampire.
I like him without the white though.
Yeah. And the weird
looks,
eyes and the baby powder on his face makeup.
He looks approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I saw these, was like, wow, 2 of the greats, truly. Against Rachel, she has no chance.
Yeah. And then so she overhears them saying she's a little green. Honestly, they weren't even that mean.
It's true. No, they're absolutely true.
She's in
they're
college.
right.
Yeah.
It's freshmen.
You can't be mad at somebody calling you green if you literally don't have any professional credits.
And she's never done community theater. She literally only did 2 musicals in school. One of them was Rocky Horror.
I can't do her. I can't.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so there's 2 sides to this yesterday coin. There's the literal thing she's supposed to be singing about her audition, but also this was the first episode of season 5. This is right after Corey has died. The show is reeling from his death, and you can feel it because I was telling Alyssa, they leaked later on, not leaked, they announced later on that they had this scene that they were building towards. That was the end scene of the show.
Yeah.
Finn was going to be teaching at the high school. Rachel was going to make it on Broadway, and she's going to come back to Ohio and come in Finn's door and be like, I'm home. That's how they wanted the show to end.
Interesting.
And now they can't do that. They're like, what is this show even about? What are we tring to do? We lost Finchel.
That's interesting.
I did feel that.
Forgot that he had passed in between these seasons.
I did feel her singing about him and also the audition. So I would also like to retract the harshness of my earlier comment, but still leave a little there.
Yeah.
I did not notice that all of the places she went and sang at were places that they had gone together. Cullen had to point that out to me. I have a terrible memory. Did not pick it up at all.
Wait, like they went to Sardi's?
Didn't they go there and meet
Patty LuPone?
Yeah.
Was that Sardi's? I don't remember, but you might be right.
And then they were like, that bridge, they definitely talked on that bridge. And like they even had the person making like the giant bubbles, which he made during that scene when Finn and Rachel were exploring New York. Like it was harkening back to like the end of season 2.
Interesting.
And so I was like, oh, this is like, there's some like emotional depth to this.
Do they actually are they ever gonna like kill him in the actual fantasy show world?
But that's the thing, is like,
episode 3, I think, of this season.
Yeah.
I think like the emotion we're seeing is actually the show kind of starting to come to terms with that and honoring that, because the characters, he hasn't died in the story yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So so that was yesterday, and then Santana gets her a job at this diner. And as she says, she's like, because my dad's would pay my rent forever, and I just want to be working and making it in New York. And I'm
when they first come in and they go, Santana goes to like clock in or something. Rachel throws her coat somewhere behind a booth, and I was like, this is your first day. What are you doing?
Did she actually talk about her dad's paying rent?
Yeah.
Yes, I noted that too.
I completely missed that.
And I was like, aha, I knew it.
Yep. Okay.
I noted that.
So freaking privileged.
Hannah, I'm so sorry. I was up getting my White Claw when you announced what you were drinking, but it looks like you're drinking hot sauce.
That's what she needs to get through this episode.
God. Yes, I need to be on fire. It is a sangria. But you know what? Looking at it, it does, like, I can see in like the image that I could see it looking like hot sauce.
It just looks like a hot sauce bottle.
Yes, I'm gonna start referring to this as my hot sauce. So yes, it's spicy. It's very sweet, actually. 13.9% alcohol. That's a decent amount. All right, it's gonna be a fun night. Very spicy.
So then she's at the diner and Santana's like, I just show him my side boob to get you this job. Don't say that you're Jewish or part Black. And I'm like, that part of Lea Michelle's identity. Lea Michelle is not part Black, but Rachel is. But that like literally never comes up.
But I don't think she is.
No, because the first episode they say her dad's did the sperm donor and then they never found out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I guess she could be, because now I remember like they basically mixed it, did a turkey baster or whatever, so like they didn't know.
But does that, just a side note on sexual education, it's just one sperm, so it's not like the sperm from her dad
they
and
don't
her dad
merge.
It's not a sperm and an egg, so because
if you get 2 sperm in an egg, I feel like that's just gonna be a mess.
That doesn't work unless it was like a twin situation. I could be wrong.
Rachel definitely ate her twin in the womb. She would do that. Yeah, it's on brand for Rachel.
Granted, I went to a Catholic high school that did not teach sex ed, but I mean, that is my understanding of.
I think you're spot on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
As someone who went to public school with probably equally bad sex education, frankly.
Why is sex education so bad in the United States?
Because we're puritanical.
Yeah. My parents would lecture about the media. Don't let the media educate your children, but I got my sex education from Gilmore Girls and The Office. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not The Office.
Okay.
Yeah. so then the people come in from the
Mr.
audition.
Fantastic and Cullen Carlisle. Or Carlisle Cullen.
And she's like,
Not the same day though, right?
it's like
It's a different day,
I
right?
think it's the same day. I
It's the
was
same
like,
day.
First day?
I think it is.
She said, she was like, because I just tanked that or whatever, something that audition, like I'm still reeling from it or whatever.
Well, to be fair, I guess Rachel would reel about that for 50 years.
Yeah.
So then she's like, hi, yeah, this is awkward, but I don't care because like I'm not great. And like
I'm being
Never.
professional. And I'm like, you're not, because you're accosting them at lunch.
yeah. And then she's
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna sing for you. And then she sings It's Been a Hard Day's Night. And I'm
The
like,
irony.
I'm
After
like-
you just said your parents paid your rent.
She's been working a whole day, you guys. A whole day.
She should be sleeping like a log.
In that same scene, Santana said, I guess technically now we're working actresses. And her eyes lit up, Rachel's. And I was like,
Yeah. It's such a weird
Gagging.
scene.
Not only is this like strange because it's her first day and it's just a weird situation, but also in what way is her doing her job going to impress these people?
That's
Like
a good
it's
point.
literally her job to sing and dance as a waitress.
Yeah.
Like
Also, singing
they could
the
hire
Beatles.
every single waiter and waitress in that restaurant and have a great show. Just saying.
they'd be like,
she's-
actually, you're gonna be part of the ensemble.
right. Like
Yeah.
it's not, and she's not special. Sorry, Rachel.
That's the thing. I don't think the show will ever do this because Rachel has been told she's special since day one of her existence. But like, she needs to be told that like you're one of thousands, hundreds of thousands even, who want to be where you are. Just in college, the college you go to. So it's like you're not special. I don't know.
Yeah, but her parents told her, Whoopi told her, she's
And then
It's
freaking
literally the only
dance
difference
teacher.
between people who are special and people who aren't special, or the people who are special get told that they're special.
no, it's they have money.
Okay, got it.
yeah, that's a good point. There you
Okay, we're on the same page.
go. Yeah. Even like Cassandra July was essentially like, yeah, you're special by the time after she bullied her for a whole semester or year. I don't know how many
Yeah.
weeks it was.
So, oh my gosh. Okay. So she sings it, and is that nothing else happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
then she-
because they're just, I don't even think they clap for her. Everyone else does, but Mr. Fantastic is like, I can stretch my arms like millions of miles. Like, this doesn't impress me. And then he sings Shania Twain's That Don't Impress Me Much.
that don't impress
That's
me.
how we work it into the Gleeboot, because Shania deserves a little bit of recognition. Maybe she
Shania
doesn't
deserves some
Glee.
love. Musically.
Maybe not from Glee, but
So that, and then she's like, oh my gosh, look at this text from Blaine. And I'm like,
We have to leave work early
yeah, she
on my first day.
her first day or her first week,
And they didn't even clock out.
Nope.
she just leaves their shift. And I'm like, you were just serving tables. Like, what if those people need ketchup? Like, what are they gonna do?
she puts ketchup on someone's fries.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I saw that.
I died.
I
was like,
do
what
not
is
see
the
that.
mustard guy?
What if he's a mustard guy?
That would be hilarious. If she's like seeing the number and the guy gets up and is like following her around, like, I don't want this. What did you do?
Can we get some new fries, please?
I'm allergic to tomatoes. That's why I didn't get tomato on my burger.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that's Rachel.
And then
Who
that's
cares?
it. Because like they leave and then all of a sudden they're in the Blurt storyline, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whew, well, that's out of the way.
Yeah. So Will announces it's Beatles week for 2 weeks. And Tina has one of her amazing lines where she says, whoa, we've never done a lesson for 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Shu. And I'm like, they still give this girl all the exposition.
All of the exposition. You know what? And she does it with class.
Jen Oshkowitz just bought a house. She's fine.
Yeah, she's.
How do you know she bought a house?
I follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
And people post about that kind of stuff on
I follow
Instagram.
Leah and Michelle too, and I'm still like, why? But Leah and Michelle went skiing recently.
Hey.
Cool. Good for her, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully she didn't shit in anyone's wig.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, gross.
She's a horrible person.
Let's talk about Cardi, because this is suddenly a major storyline. I'm like, I hate both these people.
And it jumps off quite literally like a day or two after in last season, which in real time can, like, when this was airing, would have been a whole summer ago for viewers, that Kitty went behind Artie's back and told his mom about he didn't want to go to this film school because he didn't want to leave her alone or whatever it was.
I forgot what the actual, like, there was like what was on the surface and then what he was trying to say, and I think
he was nervous about going to New York and like
being a handy capable person there.
Yeah.
Like,
which is valid.
yeah. Which I think we said during the episode, like, we kind of wish like it had actually been about that and had explored the sort of realism of that.
Yeah, because Boston sucked in that respect. I can't imagine New York is going to be much better.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, in the choir room after Shu gives the announcement, is it Kitty or Artie that comes up to each other? I think it's Artie, right?
Artie's like, your chariot awaits, and she like pops in his lap and
I was like,
off.
why are you guys? I don't. It's
I
weird.
thought they were already dating publicly at that point. As somebody
I
who
was
didn't-
confused.
Because that scene doesn't make any sense
It didn't.
in context with later scenes.
Exactly.
Well, and also, you don't sit on high school boys' laps. Like,
Right.
but you also just don't sit in a friend's lap like that.
No.
In your short cheer uniform.
Also, especially because later she was like, I don't want to be seen with you. And then, like, for whatever quote unquote sweet reasons that ended up being, which we'll talk about. But
Bullshit.
like, yeah. But like, I was like, well, then why did you ride in his lap down the hallway?
And take him to the carnival.
Why is there a carnival?
That was not
I mean,
explained.
I love a carnival, but
It was on a school night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, these kids should have homework and activities to do. There's no time to go to a carnival.
Look, I was
like a
not popular
Tuesday.
in high school, but I can tell you what, I don't think the popular kids would have been going to a carnival either.
Yeah. They're like, they've been hanging outside of the carnival, being like, ew, carnivals.
That's probably true. But
I don't.
I mean, I would do that. No, I love a carnival.
you
Who
were
does?
cool in high school.
I was not. But yeah, so he's like, hey, I want to thank you. Let's go to breadsticks. And she's like, I hate breadsticks. I'm like, that's not true. You went there with Ryder like 5 weeks ago. Also, why is Ryder in the Glee Club still?
Yeah. Wait, wasn't he gonna quit?
Yeah. Okay. So Natalie, to quickly catch you up, literally at the end of last season, Ryder was like, I don't think I'm going to be in Glee Club anymore. We're like, good, goodbye. And then this episode, he's one of the white boys.
He's the white boy with the brown hair.
Oh,
Yes.
he was the drummer?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And he said, I think he said he related to Ringo, and Kitty was like, were they also dyslexic boys who are catfished by
Yeah.
transsexuals?
Which in and of itself, the fact that he said that he related to Ringo and then she said that, I thought that was actually kind of funny. But like, there's no reason as to why he's here. And I'm like, get out. You said you wanted to leave. Go. But anyway, I digress.
One less character for us to worry about.
Or pretend to care about.
Yeah.
Also, he had a tan, and that was new. And that was interesting, considering we saw him last in story 4 days ago.
Maybe there was a 6 summer in Ohio.
Yeah. Literally, they had like
4
one
days of
sunny day,
sun.
and he just like sat there.
Baby oil him up.
Yeah. But yeah, so like then they go to the carnival, but everyone in the Glee Club goes. They're singing. They're acting on one of those spinny things.
They have Artie in a wheelchair on one of those. And I'm like,
That doesn't happen.
that doesn't happen. He is driving a bumper car, and I'm like, he can't use his feet.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I was like, is it so that he actually like cannot use his feet, or is it just that like he doesn't have the mobility to stand up. Because I was like, what is the tracking? I was gonna say mythology
Kitty
here,
could have
but
also been doing the pedal.
that's true.
Because they
That's true.
shared.
It's just the way they represent disability on Glee is they don't take any time to think about how it is in the real world. You know, to think about like how these people live and the opportunities that are denied to them, how hard they work to get the opportunities that they have. And they just say, oh, it's just like everybody else. They can just do whatever everybody else does. And like that has like a good idea behind it because they, in a way, like, yes, they are like everybody else because they are human beings.
Well, they should be afforded the same opportunities,
but they often
they're
aren't.
not.
Yeah.
So everything that basically, except maybe the games that they were playing, I want to say like all the rides they went on would not have been accessible.
Yeah.
And they also didn't take, it would be different if they took the time to show how he got in the ride, right?
Right.
Like somebody helping or making it more accessible. But they, just glossed right over that because they have an able-bodied actor playing a disabled person.
I have to say, though, Kitty does make an excellent point when she's like, you're really going to trust your life on a ride that was built in 3 days by carnies. And I was like, I mean, I'm afraid of some of the roller coasters and rides at Busch Gardens that have been there for 20 years. So, I mean, that's a good point. A ride built in a couple days.
I hate carnivals.
The more we talk about them, the more I think I do too, actually.
I just really
like
don't
the
like
food.
them.
I'll go for the food.
Like the food.
Really? Like, you don't like an elephant ear or anything?
The food scares me more than the rides because they have to transport that.
Yeah. Elephant ears, I can go for an elephant ear. And does everyone know what an elephant ear is? Because that's regional.
No.
Okay.
I'm from the Midwest though, so I'm a little shocked that I don't know this.
Oh, interesting.
It's a piece of fried dough that is just shaped in a big circle oval. And they put different toppings on it. Most of the time it's like just sugar and cinnamon.
Powdered sugar. Yeah.
So it's a funnel cake.
Kind of like a funnel cake.
Not quite,
the same
but almost.
material, but different shape.
Same material. Yeah. Yes, the same base material. A different method of cooking it. Because I think a funnel cake, they would take it and they would kind of like squirt it into a pattern. Yes. Right? And make it sort of nesty. But
it's a big flat thing.
They would just take a giant ladle.
Yeah.
Is it whole or does it have holes in it?
Nope. It is a whole big oval.
And it's on a griddle
flat thing.
Not in the oil.
Nope, it's fried.
Oh yeah, no, it is fried. Yeah.
But they make it on the griddle first, right? Just to let it set.
I think so. I feel like you would have to get that.
Funnel cake is just straight in the oil. This is obviously now it's a funnel cake podcast.
Now I don't know.
I think they just take the dough and they just dip it in the oil. I'm pretty sure that's how they make them.
Okay.
Interesting. I actually never really thought about it.
I'll have to write a letter to all the carnivals that come to Kansas City, Missouri and be like, where are the elephant ears?
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny.
That is my one and only carnival food that I will eat, actually.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. It sounds delicious.
It's pretty good.
So they, because it starts with Kitty and Artie singing in the hallway, and then they transition to the carnival. They're singing "Baby, You Can Drive My Car." And then we meet Tabitha Tate from Riverdale, who is playing Bree.
Well, I just really quick want to say, "Baby, You Can Drive My Car" was a bit on the nose with the driving around in the bumper cars.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, Cullen can attest to this. When we were in grad school, he starred in one of the music videos that I made and like produced and directed, quote unquote, with my friend during a class. We did the same thing where we went to an arcade and they were like
dating
and doing a driving game, and it was all about driving in a car. That's what the song was about. And
did Patrick say something?
Patrick
I remember.
He was like, this is too on the nose for me. I remember being really offended. I watched this Glee episode. I just want to say,
Patrick,
I understand.
Yep. Patrick,
was
she's
right.
sorry. Oh, man.
Listen, I didn't say anything in class, but
Yeah, you were very professional about it, unlike Rachel in this episode.
Yeah.
You didn't accost him at a Subway or whatever.
I now understand.
So Brie, Tabitha Tate, her name is Brie with 2 E's, not like the cheese. So
Doesn't she like the weird cheese?
yeah,
And I'm like,
she's
Brie is delicious. How dare you?
she's named after the town in Lord of the Rings, Brie.
That's a deep cut.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And she is basically like, you guys would be super cute. I Instagram pictures of you together. And Kitty is all like, she's a stone cold bitch. She's out to destroy me. And she's like, we should be together, but like in secret because I don't want to be seen with you.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I have to maintain a status to survive at the school. And I'm like, that's a real rude thing to say to a person that you're trying to woo.
Yeah, that you undeniably have feelings for. Also,
Yeah.
can we take a sidestep to that picture that was posted by Brie?
She's a fantastic photographer.
Also, Kitty's looking right at the phone.
Yeah, so
She's
Kitty
like-
would know.
Everything's blurred except for Kitty going, I was like, what iPhone did she have?
Yeah, really.
Also, PSA for anyone out there looking to survive high school, I've done it without any status. So
And
Yeah.
it's possible.
You can do it.
you'll be fine. It'll make you funny.
True. This is true.
Yeah, look at us. We're all hilarious.
It'll just build character.
Yeah. So Bree is here now. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Well, is it that they need a new mean girl because Kitty is now like being nice to people?
I think so.
But Kitty is still personality trash.
But is she now becoming like a more elevatedly nasty Quinn? Because like she's not as horrible as she was, but like
She's no longer two-dimensional.
Quinn like quips.
Yeah.
She does. I thought of that. She does.
So
She's not just like straight up evil anymore like she used to be.
I kind of miss that Kitty though, not gonna lie.
But like what's kind of exhausting is they're so uncreative that the villain always has to be a cheerleader.
And blonde.
Yeah.
Because blonde cheerleaders are evil. JK,
Wait,
I'm
they're
sure there's a
trying to
lot
flip
of
the
nice
script now
blonde.
because now the bad cheerleader
Is
is black.
Diversity. Racism.
Woke culture.
Yeah. Couldn't the mean girl like Regina George wasn't a cheerleader.
No.
She
Were
didn't
there
do
even
any
cheerleaders at that school?
She didn't do any extracurricular activities. That's why she had so much time to write a burn book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she was
That's true.
blonde.
She
And
was
skinny.
blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You
Up
don't
to
want
a
to go
point-
the
Up
way
when she
That's
started
the
eating those bars,
Yeah.
you know.
But
Calcium
also,
bars.
was she really fat? You know what I mean?
No, she
Yeah.
wasn't. No, she wasn't.
She was so skinny. Still.
Yeah.
Though you don't want to go the route of remember when they rebooted Heathers and the villains were like plus size and gay and black and they were like and the victims were all like the straight white people. And they're
Well,
like, this is and like
That's the most conservative thing I've ever heard. Like that was definitely written by a conservative who like hates people who are fighting against fat phobia and racism
They rebooted
and
Heathers.
homophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
And
a
everyone was like,
show.
this is a bad idea. And then it came out and everyone was like, who is this for?
Yeah.
Because they're like,
It got
conservatives
canceled
aren't going to
too.
watch this, but it was also
No.
like, liberals aren't going to enjoy it either.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Heather's is a period piece, and I will stick by that.
Oh,
Wait,
no,
the
fully
show
agree.
or the movie or both?
The movie and the musical.
The movie. I have never seen the musical, so but yes,
I've never
I
seen the musical.
think it
Yeah,
only
the movie.
really can exist in that little bubble.
Yeah, it's a really small bubble. In fact, it starts and ends with the production of that movie. It doesn't age well a couple of years after that, for sure.
Yeah.
Nope.
So yeah, so then Kitty and Artie are, what do they sing?
You can't, you're hiding your love away or
Hide
something
Your
like
Love
that.
Away. Yeah.
On the
as-
nose. So
yeah,
on the nose.
As they like sneak around, and she has all these notes attached to the ceiling with pencils, and I'm like, how the fuck did she do that?
Okay, so I thought about that too. She loaded a pencil into like some sort of gun and shot it into the ceiling. That's what I think.
But also, like in any high school, what boy or any athletic person wouldn't try and jump to hit it?
Exactly.
That
They did
is
that
a
even
lot
when there
of
wasn't
you.
anything there. They just wanted to pop the ceiling tiles. You're absolutely right.
Good Lord, if there was an arrow pointing up in my locker, there's no way I'd look at the ceiling. I'd look at the top of my locker. Like a fucking idiot.
I see Alyssa with her head in
Not
the
like a
water.
fucking idiot, Alyssa. Give yourself some credit. You're absolutely right. You would look above your locker, the top of your locker. That's the logical
I'd
thing.
never see it. I would just be like, I would never see anything on the ceiling.
There are tears in Alyssa's eyes right now.
Truly.
Yeah, so this is really strange. And then all of a sudden, Kitty stops showing up. Presumably, I thought this was the same day, but
don't know
I
what
guess
the
it's
timeline
not.
is.
Well,
It
because I
could be
guess they
4 months.
meet under the stars twice. There's 2 different under the
Yeah.
stars
Mhm.
notes.
Yeah,
And then like
and she doesn't show up to one of them.
and then she's like waving, but then she's waving at Bray.
The
And
classic, I'm not waving at you.
yeah.
Oh God, I feel that mortification. Artie was like,
so do
"Oh,
I.
you're not waving at me, even though I'm your boyfriend in secret."
Has everyone here had that experience?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
Cool.
been a while because
Universally
wearing masks
embarrassing.
in public so people don't recognize me, which is really great. I love that. Best thing about the pandemic, frankly, if we can say there's a best thing about it. So she's clearly like, from what we understand at this point, she's doing it because she doesn't want to look uncool.
Mhm.
Even
Which
though
is-
we talked about before, the Glee Club at one point, right after Nationals, was pretty popular. Like they were cool kids. And then all of a sudden that disappeared.
For like what, a day? And then
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
Well, but it's so ableist at the end of the day. She's embarrassed to be seen dating someone who's in a wheelchair.
Which is
Yeah.
why Tina Cohen Chang, bless her sweetheart, she like observes, I think it's the waving
Yeah.
scene, right?
Mhm.
And she's just like, huh. And then she confronts Artie.
But like everyone kind of plays Tina as like, she's so silly and dramatic. But I'm like, Tina's being a good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's seeing this and she's like, no.
And
no.
she's taking it to the team, the people that care about him. too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, because she talks to him first. She's like, that's what I thought. Like, that is not okay. Where's your self-respect?
Mhm. Which, like, Tina has a right to say something like that, considering that the Blaine Vapo rape thing, and she had to really learn self-respect after that.
Yeah. And considering that Artie used to call her woman, he doesn't deserve her kindness, but she's being a good friend
Yeah.
and a good person, and like being like, that's not okay. Like, you don't, because as shitty as Artie is, no one deserves that. Like, no
Right.
one
No.
deserves to be treated like that indignity. And
Mhm.
so then she brings it to the classroom. This is where I wanted her to sing Maxwell Silverhammer. I don't know why. But she comes in and she's like, hey guys, something's going on in the team. Kitty is dating Artie, but she's trying to keep it a secret. And Kitty's like, yeah, like, I just like wanted to stay cool, and I have a different caliber of coolness than the people in this room. But like, I was also scared of being hurt because I haven't liked someone like this in a while.
Yeah. And it's like, that's bullshit. Like, she's like, yeah, no, I was hiding it. But then she kind of twists it. It's like, oh, it's because I wanted to make sure, like, he was worth my embarrassment, I guess. And I'm like,
Ugh.
you're not making this better, Kitty.
She's just making it worse.
Yeah, it's so awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Artie. Everyone's kind of like, and everyone kind of gives Tina shit for it, but like, because they call
Everyone's
Tina Cullen an
excited.
agitator.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, Tina is just looking out for her friends because that is.
She's the friend we need.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know why she got the bad end of the deal on this one. Like, it should have been Kitty.
Yeah, they should have been
Because
like, Kitty, how could
Glee-
you?
No, because Glee is like, yes, this is okay to do to people
Ew.
that are
Enabler.
behind Kitty. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay to, if you want to see if you want to
It's
date
okay.
someone who
I mean, she
isn't as cool as you,
apologizes.
which is good. I'm glad, but also
Is that why it's okay?
Artie.
Because she apologized.
Kitty should have lost Artie for this.
yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Artie should
Yeah.
have been like, you know what? Tina pointed out that that's not right. And I was blinded because you're like pretty and stuff, but like, no, you shouldn't treat me that way.
Yeah.
And like, go, like, turn away and like, and Kitty should have to like be like, oh, like, I'm a bad person. Kitty is a bad person who never gets like, Marley forgives her for giving her an eating disorder. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
Yeah, she like doesn't feel any consequences.
Mhm.
Ever.
No.
and
But
I'm like,
Tina got the consequence this time.
Yeah, exactly.
People were like, oh, she's in a bad mood lately.
Oh god. Yeah, we'll
let's
still
talk
talk
about
that.
that bullshit.
Yeah, because
Yes,
this is the end
please.
of the Cardi thing.
How does that make her feel better? And she was like at the end, like, I really needed this. Like, what? A date to
Nope.
A prom, yeah, exactly.
prom? I'm a little confused.
I'm
Well, here's what
convinced
happened.
the Glee writers have never actually interacted with the teen girl who wasn't a teenager in 1953.
So like what happens is this is after the Kitty Artie thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like halfway
So
through the
Blaine-
episode, this becomes a storyline.
Blaine gets together with Ryder, Jake, and Sam.
Yes.
And Blaine's like, oh, like
It's like
She
an
isn't-
intervention meeting.
He's like,
yeah,
one of our own has
without
become
the
a
person who needs an intervention.
one of
So
our
it's like
own.
the way you plan an
Yeah.
intervention.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
He's like, one of our own has become a sad, bitter, angry person, and they're like, oh, that'd be Tina.
Yeah, all
And
of them.
And
But how is
then
her standing up for a friend bitter?
I don't know.
it
I
makes no
didn't get it.
sense
I
because
yeah.
after like in the middle of that, Blaine's like, yeah, I saw her in the Too Young to Be Bitter club and she was the only one, and they do a quick take to that and she's like stuffing her face with like donuts or something.
Which
Mhm.
Cullen and I were pretty sure was disbanded.
Yeah,
Last
they
season.
disbanded it,
After the City Hawkins, when
And
she said
so
she
that
was in love with
means-
Blaine.
so she just restarted it because she's so bitter.
Which you can't actually do with only one person.
You need like a
You would
faculty
think.
advisor.
Yeah.
You would think. So that happens. And then at one point, someone's like, well, yeah, clearly it's Blaine's fault, but nothing comes of that
Yeah,
It was a
because
throwaway line.
because it's
Yeah.
not Blaine's fault. It's
Yeah, Tina was in love with Blaine and she kind of sexually assaulted him.
yeah.
And they're like, we'll fix whatever mess you made, Blaine. And they
Which
say
I was so upset. Like, fix the mess that Blaine made. Fix the mess. Tina's
women are
the
messes
mess.
to be fixed.
No, no, Cullen.
They should have sang something from My Fair Lady again.
Oh God.
So like, okay, this is okay because they say Artie. This is the only storyline I care about because it makes me so mad. They say that she broke up with Artie, right? Yeah, because
No,
then
Artie broke up with her because she was faking her stutter.
no,
then he
but
says,
then Artie sang that Britney song, remember? And he was mad at Tina. Tina broke up with Artie.
so then they're wrong.
I think she
The men have it
did.
wrong.
Yeah, she broke up with Artie to be with Mike Chang. Better
And then-
choice.
Mike Chang apparently I almost said fired her. Broke up with her because she wasn't Asian enough. And one of the guys was like, is that true? Is that why you did it? And Sam was like, yeah, I think so.
I'm like, we
uh,
never really got to find out why they broke up.
I'm guessing it's probably something normal,
Like long
because they're
distance.
long distance now.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. And also, I mean, she did commit fraud by applying to the schools for him, using his
True,
name,
true.
possibly filling out his FAFSA. I mean, she has a social security number. I mean, Tina is a mess, and I think she needs some help. But it's not because she's bitter. It's because she has some boundary issues. She needs a talking to.
I love a messy bitch. It's why I
love
loved
her.
watching Never Have I Ever. It's why I love The Little Mermaid.
Love it.
You know, I just love it. It's like, especially like, because teenagers are messy. Like Tina is the only one half the time that acts like a real teenager. It's like Finn and Tina, because she's like doesn't know how to be a person, and you're like, I didn't when I was 16. Yeah.
So they have this meeting, and they're like, like we know what we're gonna do. And what they do is the dumbest thing. I don't understand how this is supposed to be helpful, but they basically set up the stage in the auditorium to be like what it looked like when the Beatles were on TV back in the 60s, like when they first came on the scene with like the raised platforms. They're doing their jams. Also, something I realized, Blaine, Darren Criss is left-handed. He was playing the guitar left-handed.
Oh,
Everyone else is playing it like this. He was playing it like this.
interesting.
So but anyway,
I was too busy being like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I zoned out of that part. I was like, okay, I get what's happening. They're doing something totally crazy. And then I was like,
black and white. Like it was.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I understand why they did it, but like, also everyone was dressed up. Okay.
They made Tina had, why did you make me wear this? I had to pull out a Grease costume.
I was like, okay, that was not in Grease. That literally was like, that was a 60s outfit. Grease takes place in the 50s. So that's not accurate. But anyway, like, yeah, they're sitting there. Like the girls are like, it's all the girls in Glee Club.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure all of them. And then they're like being the audience while these guys play. And then they're
totally
done.
Freaking out.
Well, that's like a homage to how the women were with the Beatles.
But
Beatlemania.
that doesn't mean I like it anymore.
But it's just like, then they're done, and Tina's like, oh, wow, awesome. And then Blaine's like, yeah, so like we wanted to do this because, you know, we saw you were kind of down and we wanted to. He said, we're all the single guys.
And then
in
Jake's
Glee
like,
Club.
I'm not single.
And I'm like, neither is Blaine. Not only is he gay, but he just got back together with Kurt like 10 minutes ago. So that leaves 2 people. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. And Tina's like, oh, guys, thank you so much. I'm fixed. And I'm like,
I needed that.
Ew.
Well, I was telling Alyssa, like, this show has a long and inglorious tradition of men singing at women, which part of it is the side effect of it being a musical show. But the fact that it's always the same gender dynamic, like always, is what gets to me. And like that they're like, oh, Tina just needed attention from boys and she just needed a prom date. And I'm like, my storyline is that Tina should have been like, Artie, like talk to Artie and then be like, you know what? I need to stand up for myself more. And what I want is a normal drama-free prom with one of my friends. Sam, let's go to prom together and have a good time.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not condescending.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make one adjustment to that and say that she doesn't go with Sam. She goes with one of the girls.
Oh, boom. I like that idea better.
It's slightly more realistic from my own experience, but
Let's see. Ooh, it could be like a girl pack with Unique, and I'm trying to think of who else is in that group now.
Sugar.
Because Brittany's gone. Sugar. Oh yeah, Sugar
Sugar's
and
still there.
Dreads, both missing in action.
The person who didn't get any lines that I'm blanking on their name.
Marley?
Marley.
But Marley's with Jake.
Oh, true. Although it could be interesting if they just decided in solidarity not to go with the men.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I think that would also make a really solid episode.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It's a fun
It could be
prom
teaching
episode.
the boys that like girls don't need their men.
And
They can do
boys
stuff on their
don't
own.
need girls to go to prom.
Yeah, everyone
Like,
goes stag.
everyone can learn a great lesson here.
And they sing Destiny's Child, Jumpin', Jumpin',
I think
Club
that's
Bop.
I think that's coming.
What would you say?
And
I
it's
think-
not in that context.
I think it's in this season. That song, Jumpin'
That's a
Jumpin'.
bummer.
Oh.
Ladies, if you're a man at home, club is
Yeah.
full of balas and their back is full grown.
So yeah, so we get that, and she's like, I'm going with Sam because he's the least Asian and he's the least gay, which only makes sense if you know that Darren Criss is part Filipino.
Yeah, like half.
But
Like his mom is literally
character
Filipino.
isn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense.
And I'm like, Ryder is neither gay nor Asian. He's boring as fuck. I wish
Yeah.
you know, it's like, I know it's Sam because Ryder's boring as fuck. And then you can be like, hey. And then you're like, go do that.
But she does that. She says that because she's like, I'm trying to break up obvious patterns. And I'm like, okay. Like, if that was your problem.
Tina, you've dated like 3 people in your life. You are 17 years old. You don't have a pattern yet.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So hated that. Let's talk about Blurred.
We're really zooming through these storylines. That's how there's like so little there.
Yeah.
It's just empty. It's kind of like an elephant ear or a funnel cake. It's just air in the dough.
Bringing it back. That's a callback, people.
Yeah. So they're sitting. Kurt is having a picnic at a school he does not attend.
Yeah, that was odd.
And then he is like, what song do they? He's like, Blaine's like, I'm never gonna cheat on you again. And Kurt's like, I'm gonna make you sign something that Oprah has on her website.
Yeah, the no cheating contract or whatever.
Can we talk about for one
Gotta
second
get you in my life or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
what they
that.
say. Yeah.
the picnic basket?
I missed
The
it.
picnic?
It was a very nice picnic.
It was insane. Like, I would not expect that from a fully grown man who has a job.
Right. So where did they get the
Blaine
money?
rich?
He did used to go to private school, so I guess he has that money that he got from switching to a
That's
public
And
true.
school
his
for his
dad,
boyfriend,
and then Kurt's dad is
a senator.
yeah, or
Yeah.
representative or whatever.
It was extravagant. I'm going to use that word, and
Yeah.
I mean it in the full
worst
sense.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is weird that okay, also if we think about timeline, this is like March or April. I don't know. I feel like it would be raining outside in Ohio, just gonna say.
I mean, we've already discussed how the fact that there's an outdoor courtyard is completely
In
ridiculous.
this school in Ohio.
but-
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So they saying gotta get you into my life because Kurt's like, oh, I'm done having you sing to me. And he blows the whistle and the band comes out. And I'm like, Kurt does not go to this school.
Yes, exactly. Well, because first Blaine's like, I am gonna do everything I can. I already put together a number. And then Kurt's like, actually, I did it. And I was like, this is the gayest thing ever. I was like, this is literally like what people probably think gay people are like because of Glee and this kind of media. Just like, of course they would do this. They
Yeah.
would both plan numbers for each other. And it was like, and also it happens to be the same number. Like that's how I understood it, that like somehow their two performances collided. Or am I just reading into that?
I thought
don't-
that
yeah.
too, because he started singing backup and then also singing.
And I think Blaine was conducting part of the band and Kurt ended up leading in another part of the band. It was really weird. Or like he got cut off by a part of the band that came down. And I thought that was Blaine's group of the band.
And here's the thing though, if gays are gonna do a number, it's gonna be Rain on Me by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande. It's not gonna
Well-
be this Beatles song.
Or if it has to be a Beatles song, it's not going to be this song, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's all the Beatles songs they chose are super on the nose. Like they wrote backwards from all of these songs.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. So they do this number. They're back together. Then Blaine
This
announced.
Kiss in
that
front
was
of
the
everyone.
scene. It was the scene where Blaine was wearing a lot of yellow.
One of
One
two
of the
scenes.
scenes.
Yes,
Let's be
one
very
of
clear.
them.
That's one of two scenes.
One of them.
But yeah, they like make out in front of like the whole school, which I was surprised by. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it's satanic assault on America, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
So then Blaine announces they're gonna get engaged, and everyone's like awkward, and Sam's like, no,
Not
good.
to the whole school, to the Glee Club.
To the Glee Club.
Yes.
And he's like, no, good, gay marriage, this is great, we love it.
Yeah, he's like, everyone get up. Yeah, woo, gay marriage, good. And I was like, look at that ally go.
Except his reaction didn't really make sense to me. I guess he could have done a full 180, but before he was talking about how he didn't think that they should get married because they're too young.
But then he
Yeah.
went to the rings. He went to the rings.
I mean,
so that
he
was like his character
did.
change.
I remember that happening, but it's still like a normal person I don't think would have like a full complete 180 in that direction.
Yeah,
These are Glee characters.
Yes.
that's true.
Normal person does not even come close. Yeah. So then people are like, and then he's like, we're gonna get all the Glee clubs to get together for this proposal to show that if these cutthroat show choirs can come together, the world can come together and love and accept people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
so I was going to do this earlier, but I'm going to do this right now. Okay, so let's talk about these schools, right? We've talked about previously where Blaine used to go and also Kurt used to go. The Warblers, they are in Westerville. Okay, Westerville, it's by Columbus. Okay, so we're going to go to Google Maps and we're going to type in. Oh yeah, because this happens not only during a school day, but before the sun goes down in March or April. Okay. So Lima, Ohio, directions. Okay. So wait, other way. Here we go. This would be the perfect time for use Google Maps, Ryan. Just do it. Westerville, Ohio. Cool. Okay. So that is an hour and 41 minutes from Lima to Westerville. Now, I think Vocal Adrenaline was in the Akron area.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually they go to Akron first.
Yeah.
They go to Akron, Westerville, and then wherever the deaf school is.
Haverbrook.
I don't remember where that one is, like what the actual
City,
physical
yeah.
location is. So let's just see. Okay. That is a 4 hour and 16-minute drive without stopping and having to do a performance, having to talk to everyone and be like, hey, help, I need somebody. This is not logical at all. It made me so mad because literally it is as simple as pull up Google Maps, Ryan, do this montage, have a couple like changes of clothes so we can see it takes place over different days, something. Give us a little more reality. Anyhow.
Yeah, they sing Help. And I was like, see, this whole time I was thinking, like, I feel like you could do a good story with the Beatles music. But then I remember Across the Universe is a movie, and that movie made, like, no goddamn sense.
I love that movie.
It's a fun movie.
It is. And also, I think, like, a lot of the covers are really good. Like, I still listen to them. But yeah, I'm just going to say it. I won't listen to any of these Glee covers because they're not good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the thing is, the music was, like, fine because it was the Beatles, but none of the covers were like, oh, this is a standout.
Yeah.
Some of them were mind shattering.
Honestly, none of them were anything to me. Like as soon as Rachel started singing Yesterday, Lyle's like, she's ruining the song.
Yeah. No Daffy Duck.
Because like we had recently watched Yesterday, the movie.
I love that movie.
Ed Sheeran ruining the world.
Yes. Fun.
A much better use of the music, frankly.
That always my favorite quote from a YouTuber that was reviewing the Amazon Cinderella movie. If I went to a ball that was playing Ed Sheeran, that would not be the ball for me.
Yeah.
I would just go home.
Yeah.
So then Bert is driving Kurt to the airport. But then they're like, I'm
But
taking these back roads, and Kurt's like, you're taking me to my secret proposal. That's why I wore this blue
He's
paisley
driving Kurt
suit
to the airport,
Yeah,
not from the airport.
to the airport. Yeah,
because Kurt
This is
is
the end.
leaving. Like Kurt is
He's
supposed to
gonna miss
leave.
his flight.
Thank you. I thought that too. I was like, what do you mean you're taking back roads?
The pause. She took a dramatic
like,
pause.
I literally was like, if you're going to the airport, you're taking back roads. Okay, I guess. But then then Kurt's like, my secret proposal. Is like, what do you mean secret? How do you know that? And then I was like, wait a second. He has a flight to catch.
Yep.
It made no goddamn sense. Also,
And he was calm about missing it.
Yeah.
so he didn't even think about it.
Maybe he didn't buy it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
he
maybe
knew.
Bert booked it and then end up moving it. But anyhow, besides the point, because where are they going? Because to me, I thought they went to
Dalton.
yes.
It was Dalton. That's
was
what the set
Dalton.
was. Yeah.
That's in Westerville. Why? Why would they drive? Because I'm pretty sure there's an airport in Lima. Or they could go to Toledo. Toledo's like 30 minutes away.
So here's what happened. Everyone's so surprised that Kurt actually figured this out. But what happened was he had a flight, then noticed that it got canceled and moved to the next day. And then he was in the car driving away from the airport and probably put everything together.
That's why he wore that blue paisley suit.
Changed in the car.
But how did he get the oh, it's gonna be a proposal? Like it could have
It didn't
been
make
literally anything. It could have been another surprise Bert has cancer moment. Like, how did he put together the proposal?
Mm.
Like, that's a lot of context missing.
Could it go
Because they
back
just
to,
got back together 2 days ago.
But could it go back to, with the foreshadowing from last season, back to when Darren Christ, I forgot his name, Blaine? Blair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Blaine. Okay. When he says, I have something, could that have been the thing he was going to do? He was going to propose then. But since Kurt cut him off, this is, getting a little crazy.
Wait, so are you pitching that he was going
Propose
to
at school.
at the school during that picnic?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So since he didn't get to do his thing, he was like, oh, this is the thing. But how he knew it was the proposal is what I don't know. But it was a thing, right? So he's looking forward to a thing from him.
Yeah, it makes,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's not enough context for Kurt to make
Nothing
that leap.
makes sense, but yeah.
So then they're there. Rachel and Santana are there. Mercedes.
So is Mercedes.
there.
Yeah.
I love her hair, by the way. Good hair.
Mike
change.
Chang, absent.
Mike Chang's absent. All these people who have never gone to school at the same time as Kurt are there.
And then also kids in groups that probably Vocal Adrenaline has probably all aged out of when he competed with them, I would
Yeah.
think.
So they're
Mhm.
all new people.
Well, because
Yeah.
also Vocal Adrenaline is full of 30-year-olds who have been constant seniors.
I mentioned to Cullen during that scene that I really just wanted to know what was going on with Jesse. Like, honestly, he's the only character I'm still attached to. And we haven't seen
Jesse
him
is
in
the coach of
how
Vocal
many
Adrenaline.
episodes? Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because we didn't see their coach. We saw the deaf schools coach. And then Dalton doesn't have a coach.
On the note of the deaf school, they literally went to the deaf school and then started singing at them rather than immediately using sign language. Please,
Yes,
I
right.
need some help. Help me. Like, what? I'm so sorry, but if you go to a deaf school, you have to automatically be thinking, over enunciate, and also maybe use some sign language.
That's a really good point. How did they know that they were supposed to sing that song?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point. But I thought you were going to be like, wow, I can't believe the Glee Club just interrupted them, because that's a thing that they did back in season one.
Yeah.
Imagine. Cullen, did you hear that Gal Gadot was like, I'm really sorry for doing Imagine with
She
all of the
should
other
be.
celebrities? Yeah, I think she was like, yeah, I could see that was pretty tone deaf. But then she blamed Kristen Wiig for it. Because at the time, I think either they were finishing filming Wonder Woman, and she'd come up with the idea, Gal Gadot, and then she like told Kristen Wiig, and Kristen Wiig, I think she was like, yeah, like I can get other people to help us out. And she like did it. So Gal Gadot like threw her under the bus. It sounds pretty great.
It was my idea, but this person made it happen. So it's their fault.
So it's actually their fault, and you should be getting her apology. But that was just like a very early era of the pandemic, and
they sing Love, Love, Love with all the groups, and they propose on the same place where Blaine and Kurt met, and where they ran down the hallway awkwardly holding hands.
That is the only reason I knew that this place was Dalton. I thought they were wandering through a random mansion at first.
I thought it was Blaine's house. That's why I thought it was rich.
From the outside, it was like, oh, this is where Blaine lives. Yeah, his parents do have money.
Yeah.
And then the interior kind of gave it away, but I was also still just like baffled by the traveling thing.
He has to have money. Where else can he afford all those mustard pants?
Oh, he is wearing a yellow suit jacket, yellow pants, a navy blue vest sweater, I think. It is horrible. Like it is like I think I almost threw up.
And it's horrible for 2013 when this took place. I would also like that to be noted in the records.
Yes.
This was never acceptable.
No, I don't even think it would have been acceptable back in like the 70s. Like it's just, and also like quickly to go back to the picnic where he's wearing bright yellow pants and bright yellow sunglasses. And I was like, some of the worst. And then next to Kurt, who I thought looked like really nice, I was like, this is weird, but not like too weird. It's Kurt weird, but like I was into it. I was like,
not hippopotamus brooch weird.
Yes. But like it was like I could get into it. But then next to the yellow suit, Kurt should have said no because of that. Been like, you did not coordinate with my outfit. How can I trust you to be married to you?
It was kind of coordinated a little with the blue and blue, but it did clash.
Oh, that's so many different blues.
And he said yeah. He said yeah twice, not yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah is different for sure.
Yeah. He's like,
also,
yeah, whatever.
Do I sense a breakup coming?
I also literally, I would never want this to happen to me. And
this proposal? Because it sucked.
Yes, one, it sucked. I did not like it. Two, it's in front of a bunch of people, some of whom are strangers, some of whom you barely know, and others who like you're close to. And there's just so much pressure to say, yeah, I guess, to put it in Kurt's words. And like, I would never want this. And I feel like Kurt would be into something like this because he is into grand gestures. But like, the fact that they just got back together a couple days ago, like Blaine had relentlessly pursued him, even though Kurt was like, no, like, I don't want to do this right now.
No, but Kurt would come home and hook up with him.
That's
I don't blame
true.
Blaine for pursuing him.
Yes, no. But Kurt was not interested in a relationship. And
whatever. His penis was saying something else.
But what I'm saying is, it just, none of this makes sense. If he's not interested in the commitment, why he would say yes. It's like, so in Kurt's position, like,
yeah.
Why would you, why? Like, he would not want this at this time. It just makes no sense.
Well,
and he's probably saying yeah because like kind of has to.
I don't understand why Blaine would want to propose.
Because Blaine is a love bot.
Blaine needs to not be a love bot.
They were talking about Adam, who mysteriously disappeared last season out of nowhere. Maybe Blaine put a hit out on him. We don't know. But like, I don't know. I just feel like the surrounding like context of this proposal is like, one person is super gung-ho and the other person is super not interested in commitment right now. Like, They honestly should be taking it slow to rebuild their relationship.
Yeah. All around bad decisions.
Also, Sebastian is there, who put rock salt in Blaine's eye,
I forgot.
but meant it for Kurt.
So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the end of that. I want to be done with this episode. Let's talk about Sue.
Which is a short one.
Sue's back. They explain that Becky has a month-long suspension for bringing a gun to school.
No mention of counseling though, which I think is needed.
Yes.
They really gloss over that whole thing. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, because Sue later on is like, I can't wait to bring Becky back to be my Becretary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna fire that woman.
Donna, who is a saint. She is an angel, apparently.
I'm like, a woman is losing her income for a high school student? That woman needs to retire and like build her savings.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens to the Glee Club.
He had time.
So basically, we have a voiceover from Sue. She's walking in, and then we also have like flashbacks of her breaking in the most stereotypical way with like a dark cap, and she's got the flashlight in her mouth, and she's like breaking into the office, and she plants every type of terrible crime, I guess indecency, because there's like porn mags, gay porn mags,
gay foot porn mags,
a polygamist marriage certificate,
selling the school land for fracking,
and a signed copy of Mein Kampf, which killed me. But like, it's such overkill, and it's these like weird moments with Sue that I'm like, yes, like I remember this show's Glee, and then everything else around it happens, and I was like, is this the same show?
And none of the things we actually listed or that were talked about are illegal.
It's not illegal, but it's indecent and inappropriate for a principal to have that.
And polygamy is illegal.
Polygamy is illegal.
In all 50 states? Are there not some states where polygamy is like
I don't know
thing?
about Utah or like Arizona. Thank you. More research. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's none of it's illegal, but I feel like it's also enough that he would not be allowed to work at the school.
Correct. So I understand him getting fired. What I don't understand is why he's taken away by police officers.
You're right. None of it's illegal, but the stuff with like the porn mags, like that would be like, you're not allowed to work in a school.
Yeah.
But then they keep him as a janitor.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like that means like, that makes no sense. They just want, now they're putting this Sue Figgins rivalry. And I literally was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, it's also this heavy classism of the farthest you can go is a janitor. And she's like, Janitor Figgins has a quiet dignity to it. And as someone who's worked for rich liberal white people who talk down to their person of color, help and maintenance staff, and accuse them of stealing and treat them like shit, it was super uncomfortable. That's when I said Glee deserved to be taken off of Netflix, because like Hollywood execs do this.
Yes.
And they do treat their not all of them, but yeah, and they treat their staff poorly and like they're lesser. And I'm like, this is really gross. Like being a janitor, it deserves as much dignity as any other job. And then
it's like a very important job, and it's not easy.
Is.
And she's like throwing meat slush around.
She also refers to
his deep ethnic musk.
Yeah, she said that she wants to tear down the office to remove his deep ethnic musk. And I was like there are segments of this storyline that I'm like, yes, this is funny. Like the fact that she broke in and planted all this stupid stuff to get him fired. But then it evolves into something very, very heinous, and it's
devolves.
Very, very good point. Yes. Yeah, it's, and there's also a moment where like Will and Roz are in the office, and basically Sue's like, I'm not going to fire you. Although we should talk about all the things that Roz comes clean about to Will.
She like credit card fraud, like an old lady may have
She
paid for her
stole the
condo.
car off the lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is bananas. Like, it's funny, but I'm also like, it's kind of racist.
Yeah, kind of like a lot. And also,
Yeah.
if you did any of those things, there is no way you're just gonna spill.
Yeah, like, and that's the other thing is like, it's crazy that like, she like admits that to Will, but then she's like, you guys aren't gonna get fired.
You just
I
have
just
to
want you guys
win.
to be winners, right?
It's just a rehash of what we've seen before.
Yeah, she was
Nothing new.
principal before, and she's interim principal right now. But like, when she was principal before, isn't it because she like poisoned Figgins or something?
Yeah, I don't remember, and I don't care.
I don't know.
Sue's antics have gotten really boring to me. I'm like, who lets this racist lady run around? Like,
Oh yeah. Also, speaking of racist, she basically makes a comment. I don't remember exactly what it is, but she's like, you're clearly a person whose hair could not be furthest from the color blonde, like basically pointing at her race. And I'm like,
Wait, who?
is that supposed to be funny?
Roz.
Mhm.
Oh.
Who says that to Roz?
Whether
And it's like, I was, like I said, like there are segments that's kind of funny, and then it's just like, ugh.
Mhm. Yeah, some of her antics I do enjoy, but when you're so right about this is like the whole of Glee, right? That we've been talking about. But like they're woke, but then they do completely unwoke shit of racism, ableism.
It's like
And
having really good bread, like really good bread that has mold growing on it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is that I'm someone who would cut off the mold and eat the bread,
Right?
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Cut out the bad parts.
That's what
Yeah.
the Gleeboot is all about.
Right.
We're cutting out the
off
bad
mold.
parts.
Yeah.
and we're gonna have this delicious sourdough or marble rye, whatever your favorite bread is. We're making it for you.
That goes for only 3 or 4 seasons.
And it's gonna
this
be
doesn't happen.
fresh.
Yes,
And it's gonna be delicious, and there's gonna be no mold.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like they're having their cake and eating it too, because we keep joking about the woke culture thing, but like to an extent there is like we say, they try to combat some of these issues, but then they use those issues unabashedly in the content, both to make fun of it, but also to use it as a device. And also to use it because the show's just being racist. Like the fact that like Mercedes only comes back for a couple different things, and a lot of the storylines she's had specifically have to do with her race, or like she's
Her
become a
weight.
diva, her weight. Yeah, like picks on things about people. I don't know what I'm saying, except for the fact that yes, there's a lot of mold and it needs to be cut off.
Yeah.
Question. Did we ever get a consensus on polygamy?
Oh, so on polygamy, that's a great question. So it says that it's outlawed in like all federal territories, and then in the states there are laws preventing it, i.e. you can't have more than one legal concurrent marriage license. But
You know,
it didn't say that it was
Sister Wives was a show.
illegal. It's just, I guess, the way you would go about it. Like there's got to be a loophole with the way that they phrased it.
You got to find someone
Interesting.
who's cool with it to sign off on your marriage license, your second or third one or fourth.
Mhm.
Maybe Kim Davis, as long as it's straight.
What'd you say?
Wasn't Kim Davis the Secretary of State who wouldn't sign gay marriage licenses?
It is, yeah. Kim. Well, her name was Kim. I don't know her last name, but Kim.
Huh.
Yeah. I can't believe I remember. Like the memory of her existence just came back to me in this very moment.
That's
I was like, I
interesting.
forgot about that woman. And like Mike Huckabee like got her out of prison or something, and she like came out and was all like, ah. And she had been married like 5 and divorced like 5 times.
Mike Huckabee. Ugh.
But yeah,
Anyway.
that's the consensus on polygamy.
Is polygamy specifically man multiple women?
Yes, because there's a
not by
different word.
definition.
There's a different word. I don't remember what the word is. But
For
there's
what?
there's a different word for like a one woman and multiple husbands.
Oh. Yeah.
But I don't know.
According to the show, what am I for Raising Hope? It was reverse Mormon.
Interesting.
That was a great episode.
Yeah. But when you first said consensus on polygamy, I thought you were like asking our opinions, like pro, yay, nay.
I think we're finally done with this shitty episode.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about. If there's more,
Frankly,
I don't want to talk about.
Most of the talking that we didn't have to do with the episode. We went on lots of tangents.
That's fairly true.
And that's honestly how it should be, because this episode, we gave it more time than it definitely deserved.
Yeah.
Also, let's just talk about it quickly as a season opener.
So bad.
Boo.
Such a bad opener.
Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, this would not have made me want to watch episode 2, 3, 4, 20, whatever.
No.
Yeah, no. Definitely a filler episode. And right at the start of a season, not a good sign.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fact that the main storyline was about Kitty and Artie.
I wish you guys nothing but luck with the
Thank you.
episodes.
Yes. Pray for us.
So that brings us to
Tina time.
11?
I thought 10 or 11. Yeah.
At this point, I think we might need to start counting Marley's lines too, just in case.
Oh, Lord.
You're going to write her off the show and we won't even notice.
She changed her hair too. She dyed it.
Didn't notice.
There's a little blonde in it now, right?
What?
Is there more blonde?
No, she went darker.
Okay.
Fascinating. Does she also have bangs?
No. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I imagine that.
I think I imagined it too, because I nodded my head yes during that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm mashing her and Rachel together.
Maybe during the like 60s girl like thing, she did like one
yeah. She had like Kim Strange. Yeah.
No bangs, long dark hair. Definitely trying to turn her into a Rachel 2.0.
So that means the next step is blonde highlights. You're right, Cullen.
Yes.
And fringe, some bangs.
So let's talk MVPs and LVPs. Natalie, least valuable player is your least favorite character.
Least valuable character, it's always going to be Rachel. I'm just going to say that right now.
Valid.
I didn't even think of one. Honestly, I think I'm going to go with maybe Will, because he literally didn't do anything. And he just let these kids run the week. Also, he didn't reprimand any of them for not doing a performance assignment in class, like in the choir room. They didn't do that. And that's a thing they're supposed to do, and they didn't. He was just so not a teacher.
Will is like barely a character at this point,
which I'm glad for, but also like he should at least do the bare minimum of what his character is supposed to do in this world. Is keep Kitty from saying crazy shit to people.
That was the thing that I was most surprised about watching this episode coming from season 2. I was like, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
Except for him introducing like the plot. And also him going to the office and being like, oh no. And then he was at the proposal, but didn't do anything.
Yeah. When Blaine was pitching the proposal, she was just behind the piano like, all my students are doing my job for me.
Interesting.
I'm going to collect a paycheck.
A 17-year-old and a 19-year-old are going to get married.
Again, another teen couple coming out of my room. Great. I must be a great influence.
Alyssa?
I'm gonna go with Kitty for being an absolute terrible person and like trying to date someone under the table.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Kitty
for a
too.
horrible reason.
Yeah, for bad reasons.
Like if you're doing it because you want to hide it from their husband or something, which is like isn't a great reason, but like understandable. Like that, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. No on Kitty for me. And MVPs. Natalie, who's your favorite character?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say Tina for this episode, just because of her handling of that situation. I thought she was invaluable to this episode.
Yeah, for sure. So I hadn't thought of an LVP, but for my MVP, I wrote Mr. Fantastic and Carlisle Cullen because why not?
Love
Because
it.
they existed.
Alyssa?
I'm gonna go with Kurt because this is the first episode we realize he has precognition.
That was not the answer I was expecting, but I love it. That was great.
I'm going with Tina too. I just love Tina, and I think the fact that the show hates her so much only makes me love her more. It's like I love her in defiance.
Yeah.
The show wants me to root for Rachel. I'm like, no, I root for Tina.
That's why I don't like Rachel, is because they want it so bad. They're so thirsty for it.
Not only that, but Rachel's not really an underdog. She never really has been, except for maybe a little bit in the first season when we were like rooting for her to like not completely be ostracized, I guess. Maybe that was a thing we were rooting for. I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, she was an underdog in season 1.
Yeah, she's bullied a lot.
Yeah.
But then I think honestly it turned when she sent Sunshine Corazon to a non-active crack house first episode of season 2.
That's a big turn. And then she sent Chorus Line in response to it, said, won't regret what I did for love.
And then like at that point, like she's not an underdog. She's just an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But Tina remains an underdog the whole time.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because American audiences love an underdog. It seems that they love underdogs so much, they're willing to jump ship onto different characters who are in fact underdogs rather than root for the person who isn't anymore.
Yeah, the protagonist who was supposed to be an underdog, but honestly, once she starts bullying the other underdogs, you're like, I'm gonna go with the actual underdog.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Take that, Ryan Murphy.
All right. Songs. There was a lot this week. None of it was that memorable.
No Yellow Submarine though. I was disappointed.
We had Yesterday, Drive My Car, Guys Get You Into My Life, You Gotta Hide Your Love Away, Help, A Hard Day's Night, You Saw Her Standing There, and All You Need Is Love.
Mm-hmm.
The Katy Perry version. No.
Wow, there's a lot.
Natalie, what was your least favorite song?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I have 2, and they're both Cardi songs. Drive My Car and You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away. I don't like these songs, I think, at all to begin with. Didn't like the cover, didn't like the context. Yeah.
Alyssa?
I think I'm going to go with I Saw Her Standing There, which is the one where the boys all dressed up as the Beatles and performed for the girls. And I don't really remember the song, but I remember really hating the context and the whole fixing Tina thing and the girls freaking out over these boys who are trying to fix Tina. Like, it was just not good. It was not good for me.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite was Gotta Get You Into My Life. I think because I'm like, if Kitty and Artie are boring me, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But Blaine is usually entertaining.
Yeah.
So when Blaine is boring, I'm like, you really missed it. Like,
that's why they put him in all yellow, because he was so boring this episode. They're like, he needs to stand out.
Yeah.
I thought Hannah was implying that yellow was a boring color.
No.
Like to counteract people.
Yeah, Blaine was boring. Yellow is very bright and energetic. So they're like, you have to wear this because you're going to be the most boring person you've ever been on the show.
Okay.
And Darren Criss is like, all right, you said enough.
It's like an offset.
My favorite song was All You Need Is Love. I thought it was decently done. And I do love a proposal, even if it's not the way I would have done it.
That's a good point. Yeah, I also picked All You Need Is Love. It's decent. Yeah. Which is not a good place to start for a season opener.
I
Yeah.
also went with All You Need Is Love, mostly because it's a song that got stuck in my head after the episode ended, and they
Same.
very specifically put it at the end of the episode for that reason.
Yeah.
But it was also just kind of fun to watch all of the people that they brought together and like wander through this enormous, what I thought was a house is actually Dalton. It was just
an hour and 15 minutes away from Lima.
Yep.
Never forget.
Never.
I'm going with Help because I was entertained by the changing of locations. It was a pretty low bar. I'm like, new colors, new people, fun.
Yeah. I think it's because these are the two songs that had like, I was gonna say the most energy, but I guess Drive My Car had a lot of energy, but like the energy was like chaotic and not in a good way. Whereas like Help was chaotic in kind of a fun way.
Yeah.
So that is the music. That is our episode. Natalie, thank you so much for coming on. We hope you had fun.
Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
Where can our audience find you on social media?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm at Natalie Naya Hansen. Naya is N-I-A. And on TikTok, I'm Natalie Naya H. Blow that up.
You can follow Gleeboot on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We are at Gleeboot Pod. You can also find us on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen. I've been doing a lot of drawings lately, so
Ooh.
feast your eyes.
I feast your eyes.
Nom. That was the weirdest thing I've ever done. We should clip that and put that up.
I'm considering a social media rebrand as I consider my podcasting future now that we're in the last year of Gleeboot.
Yeah.
So, and your boy Ryan, I love him, but I don't know if that's where I want to be taking my social media direction. But for now, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at your boy Ryan99 and YouTube at your boy Ryan.
I'm already thinking about that rebrand.
Yeah, I haven't even posted a video since my Adele versus Peppa Pig, but yeah.
Classic.
Tune in next week for another week of Beatles for an episode called Tina in the Sky with Diamonds.
Oh God. Oh no.
Okay.
Which will have a shout out to a story that Hannah has a lot of investment in.
Woo!
I'm invested
in this story as it exists outside of Glee.
Oh, interesting.
In this novel / movie / musical.
Interesting. Well, I can't wait to watch this because I'm gonna be surprised. I'm chomping at the bit. Can't wait to watch episode 2.
All right. Thank you guys for sticking with us for all this time. Welcome to season 5. We eat this garbage for you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Gleeboot.